Today you're going to learn how to be a Q&A boss. Now my name's Kyle Murter. I'm a public speaking coach, champion and author, and I'm sure like me, you've seen some awful Q&As. You've probably seen the speaker say, "Any questions?" And there's none. You've probably had a question for a speaker, but they've taken so long to answer that your arm has got tired. And you've probably been very bored in Q&As before, because the questions are just not engaging for you. Well, let's talk about how we can solve these three problems. And make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to give you a bonus tip to round things off. So the first problem is having no questions. The way we prevent this is by limiting our Q&A. And you can limit your Q&A in two different ways. You could limit the time you have available. You could say something like, "Now I only have 5 minutes for any questions. So if you do have a question, I would love to answer it now." Or you could limit the amount of questions. "Now I actually only have time for 2 questions today. Does anyone in the audience have a question they would like to ask?" And what this does is it creates scarcity. The audience realize they have a limited opportunity to ask you a question and they need to do it right now. You'll be surprised how many more hands go up when you limit your Q&A. Now, you definitely don't want to be that speaker who hangs on forever when answering a question, because you'll discourage the audience from asking you more questions because they simply don't want to go through that ordeal again. So to avoid this, make a rule for yourself. Keep your answers to 60 seconds. 60 seconds should be enough time to give a detailed answer, but it will also ensure there will be more time to answer other questions going forward. Now, our final problem was people feeling bored during a Q&A. Now, this happens because during Q&As, speakers have a habit of not talking to the entire audience. What they do instead when answering a question is they speak only to the person in the audience who asked it. And when your eye contact and body language is only focused in one person in the audience for a prolonged period of time, other people in the room are going to begin to switch off. So as you're answering a question, make sure that you continue to address the entire room. Walk to different parts of the stage, get close to different audience members, and continue to gesture, make eye contact, smile, and do all the things that you were doing to make your presentation engaging. You have to use the same skill set in your Q&A as well. So at this point, you should be feeling more like a Q&A boss. But there's one other thing that you need to do, and this is the bonus tip. You must, at all costs, make sure that you don't end your presentation on a Q&A. You see, the thing about Q&A is that you can't control the questions that are going to come your way. And if the last question is a really crappy, dull one that brings the energy of the room down, that's what everyone's going to remember at the end of your presentation and long after it. Because what is said or felt lasts with the audience. So to prevent this from happening, I recommend that you don't end on a Q&A, and instead that you end by summarizing your presentation and delivering your final point and your call to action. This way you decide what is felt and said last. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to find out how to handle difficult questions in Q&As, check out this video.